So good morning, people. I'm back at the temple again, which is a quiet place. It's close to the beach, so you get the smell and sound of the sea. It's a little bit breezy today, but it's still a nice day, lovely day. Probably get up to around 30 degrees, which is reasonably comfortable temperature. And I came here today to read the last little bit of that essay, and I've already read some of it for you. I see there's a bit of shade there today, but that's all right. Don't have to sit in the bright sun, do I? So, final part of that essay, and before I, whoops, lost a bit of paperwork there. Sorry, I'll have to go and get it. Trying to hold everything together. What have we got here? A couple of poems for you to begin. And you may have heard these before. I'll do this one again, and I'll have another one for you as well. So if they want to know who or what I am, tell them that I am an artist, that essence of a man. Tell them that I make things to move the heart of man and make an understanding from wood or paper or poetry, all without a plan. Life is like an artist working without a plan, made of wood or paper or poetry, and things you'll never understand. But take life's wood or paper or poetry and hold it in your hand, because your future is surely in there, the very essence of a man. That one over there. This one, I've kind of made a little bit of my anthem, really. What's to say, I've read it to you before, but become my anthem. One of my motivations for being here. Lots of things have motivated me to come here, but this is one of them. From a sister, passed away 25 years ago, I guess. Like I said before, this came to me one night and I wrote it down. And I say to you again, it's what you can do as well. You know, make a line on the paper, write a poem maybe about your life and things that have happened to you, or about the garden or the trees or the flowers or where you live, maybe family, grandmother, granddad, your children. So you can do that too. So from Eileen. From the earth the sound will come, you'll hear it like a beating drum. My sound, my voice will seem so strange, hard to deny, plain to relay. A drum, a voice from the past, beating, beating ever so fast. The words you hear can hardly write, faster, faster through the night. No longer now can you deny the power of a light so high. My words to you, you must comply. To write it down for all to hear, my message coming across each year, of hope, of joy, of rancid fear. Hold up your hands, feel the wind, remember now my eyes have dimmed. But not my heart, it shall remain, to teach, to toil, to reach the pain that each one has within their brain. Each one has their fate to bear, yours to teach and show them where. With my help I will show you why, as human beings we have to die. Peace, my friend, do not cry. Mine eyes are closed, my heart is still, my spirit seeks to find your will. To seek to find and understand lifelong lessons, I will hold your hand. Peace, my love, I will hold your hand. So that comes from 2002. And then another little short one here. It's just at the bottom of this page, so I'll read it to you as well. Some of these things are becoming more relevant with what's happening today. So, lay aside your past. Lay aside your past and pick up your future. Hold it in your hands and treasure it, because it is yours and yours alone to do with as you want. This time, the choice is truly yours. So, there's a couple there. A bit windy today, we've got to watch the wind here. We'll manage with a little bit of wind, I'm sure. Now, like I say, the essay, wrote this once again, 25 odd years ago. And I'd been reading some books and I had some ideas and I wove them together to make this essay. And it would appear that what is happening today is what I've written down here. So here we go. Slowly at first, but at an ever-increasing pace as globalization takes place, big business corporations, huge companies listed on and dependent upon the share market have come into being. Many of the largest of these global corporations are involved exclusively in the arms industry, others in technology, yet others in food, farming, forestry, fishing, marketing, building, manufacturing. The only goal to maximize profits today by whatever means possible. The men and women running these corporations are paid according to the profit they achieve. Their concern is not for the earth, its people or future, so them and us are vulnerable to unpredictable changes that nobody can predict, but are more likely to occur because of centralisation, not diversification, which is a safer path for a future. In this, the early part of the 21st century, we are already seeing the signs of problems that will affect mankind over the next decades. But are we listening to history repeating itself? Wars are still with us, the arms industry grows, money, talent, resources are a large part of many countries' economies. A forest in one country can be owned by a corporation in another, all funded by shares owned by people or pension funds anywhere. Numbers on a board and in the stock market are a very fragile thing indeed. Yet whole countries depend upon managers or politicians in other cities or countries far away for their very survival, managed by managers who have no knowledge of or interest in their part of the world or their culture or religion. The manager's only concern is maximising the profit today, a very fragile thing for tomorrow. Modern man is indeed a unique creature. He can think and rationalise. He instinctively knows when things are not right or danger looms. But he has less ability than the smallest animal or insect to adjust and change. His basic instincts are overridden by all those other emotions that rule our lives: pride, ego, arrogance. How much can one man really know, however intelligent he may think he is? Our planet, our Earth, our home, a living organism in space and the universe. There may be others like it somewhere out there, further away than we can imagine, certainly not yet in our sight. Even if we could see another home, how would you and I get there? Our Earth is a very unique place, like a golden grain of sand in the universe, the only grain of sand we can see. Mankind is not going anywhere. This is it. This is what we have. This is home, your shelter, bed and food. Earth has it all. Enough for now and the future, if we use it wisely. But we won't. Will you? Can mankind adapt, change, evolve, so he has a future on Earth? I think he can, but he must know home Earth will still be here if we are not. See that lovely breeze out there? It's great. Imagine if the mind of man changed. He saw his home falling apart, the roof was leaking, windows all broken, weeds in the garden, rubbish piling up at his front door, and every day it rained, or perhaps every day it didn't rain. The man would probably invest some time and money repairing his home, so he and his family could stay fed and dry. Or would he? Perhaps with the money he had, he would buy a better car, take a long holiday, go to the casino, eat and drink out, and hope that someone else would fix his home, whilst he spent his money on things he wanted to do. And if he didn't have enough money of his own, why, he could always borrow some, couldn't he? And all would be well, wouldn't it? Even you know the answer to that. If countries, corporations, politicians, those people in power who manage Earth's resources don't seem to see the Earth as home or man as a single species, but rather to them, home is a fixed abode in a place or country. Personal wisdom or success, they measure in how big the home and how much money they make or control. Politicians and political parties serve the people less and globalization more. The military of Western countries defend the people less and the interests of corporations more. The world's national interests are the interests of the few, not the many. Race, religion and resources are the major cause of conflict. The control of resources is the major concern of Western powers, controlled by whatever means possible. Little regard is given to the spiritual, emotional, or health of people at home or abroad. The views of people on the state of our world are governed and manipulated by people in power, using marketing, patriotism, propaganda and fear. Nothing is easier to manipulate than the press, either by giving or denying access to the events as they unfold, or the outlook of those who control the media. But events in the future may be too large to hide or manipulate. In many third world countries, starvation and disease is rife, while in Western countries we pay farmers not to plant crops, and life-saving medicine is denied to sick, impoverished people because they can't pay, or as a political act of malice by Western powers. We are led to believe otherwise, but we can produce enough food to feed all mankind. The world is not necessarily overpopulated. There are more people in India than the entire Americas, north to south. How do we change the minds of man? The system won't allow it, but nature may see to it, and democracy and the ballot box may make it happen. Politics, politicians and power are at the whim of the people, and natural events put upon us by nature will force us to change the way we spend our resources, money and talent. Nature takes no notice of borders, boundaries, patriotism, flags, colour, religion, or who holds the biggest stick. The natural forces which govern the earth are global. It's one system that affects all, no matter where. What can we do about it? The leaders of tomorrow are being born today. The leaders of today will be no more in a few decades to come. History shows us that civilizations move and change. The power the powers that be today can be put aside and changed. Tomorrow, one country's dominance is but a fleeting thing. Wherever you travel in the world, you can find many people, regardless of colour, race or creed, who are kind, caring, ready to love and give all for their homes and families. If you have a home that needs repairs, you put your money, talent and resources into doing that task. Today's house has many rooms, but only one roof. A small hole in that roof can flood the whole house. With the help of many, climb up on the roof and help fix the hole. Time never stops, just moves on. By the end of this century, your grandchildren will have children. Think about that. And my life and name will have long been forgotten. All part of being human. By 2050, most people alive today will be gone, and your generation and the generation after you will be in control of your own destiny. What an exciting time it will be. The world as it is, and we know it today, will be totally different, beyond our imagination. From space it will look the same. The days and seasons will not have changed, and still the earth will rotate around the sun. Sea and tides will still be with us, influenced by our moon. Man, if he is wise, will be moving closer to being in balance and harmony with earth. But that will take time. It's the beginning that counts, so begin. So there we have it, that particular essay. Something for you to take note of or ignore, if that's what you want to do. You probably have your own ideas on where we're going. We're in a big change now. It's a watershed moment in history, and there's going to be a lot of changes taking place. I know in my lifetime, in my father's lifetime, the world changed completely. And in my lifetime, the world has changed completely. I'm in my 82nd year. I remember the telephone was like a big brick on the wall, and their number was 117S, and there was a telephone exchange where they plugged you in, and it was a party line where 3 or 4 of your neighbours would be on the same line. And if you were talking to your girlfriend at night, then and you heard a little click, you knew the neighbour was probably listening in. And now we have this device. Really important because the mass media, as we know, is controlled by people who don't have your interest at heart. But you do have a cell phone now, and that, I think, is their Achilles heel, because news stories can come out in the morning and they can be debunked online in the afternoon, and the truth can be told. So you do know basically what the truth is, even if the mass media is seeking to divert you or change your mind or influence you or get you to believe something that isn't true, and there's a lot of that happening. Civilization throughout history. If you go to the Romans, the Greeks, you can talk about Alexander the Great and, Genghis Khan, if you like. You've got, you had the British Empire where the sun never set, and when I was at school we sang songs about it. They've all passed into history, and we have a new empire, of course, the American empire, trying to be, hoping to be, but empires come and go. It's just the way it's been forever. So in these current times, people, what do you do, The young people are confronted with challenging times, perhaps more challenging than what I had or my parents had, or it's been an endless cycle of wars, the First World War, and and the Second World War and Korea and Vietnam and endless others that you have never heard of all over the world. Constant, never ending. Vietnam, where I am now, had the Battle of Dien Bien Phu up north, where the French, for some reason, set up their forces in a valley. They forgot the first tenet, control the high ground. And Vietnamese had the high ground, and they had the artillery, and French were forced to surrender, and they then showed them the exit, the exit door. And they went back, and it became basically what the other day was about, Independence Day was about. They finally found their freedom, or so they thought, until other powers got involved and had another 20 years later, and had another 10 years of war. And I have great admiration for the older people in Vietnam, people that are my age, and even younger too, the young people that were born maybe in 1965 when the war started and finished in 75, or people that even were born in 75 and life was extremely difficult. At the end of the war, as the new government established itself, so the people, 65, 75, they didn't necessarily, weren't able to go to school or get an education or learn to read and write. They still had to find a way to make a living, and most of them did that. So the Vietnamese were proud people, and so they should do. Maybe one day you can be a proud person too if you think about what's happening. Because if you throw a rock into the centre of a pond, you'll see the ripples go out, and they do touch every shore. So if you think it's not going to affect you, or it doesn't bother you, or you're okay, or I'm set up, or I have a job, or I have a house and all the rest of it, then maybe you'll slip through the cracks. But the vast majority of people don't have that. AI is coming on, which is going to be very important in the future. We don't quite know where AI is going to take us. There's many facets to AI. I wouldn't get overwhelmed by it. I've seen it before, way back when they had the Club of Rome and the first computers come in and the world was at an end according to them, and everything was over, But AI could be a useful tool if it's used wisely. Whether it will be, as time will tell. You need to think about what you train to be when you go to university, or you want to be a tradesperson perhaps. Think about whether your job's likely to be there in 10 years or 20 years time. The effects of AI are going to be quite significant. So I think we need to move back to the way ancient man was. And they worked in groups. They had to work in groups. They had to cooperate to survive, to build where they might live, hunting or fishing or growing crops, defending themselves. They had to work in groups. So you will have a group of friends, or you'll have family, your own family or your extended family. And I think it's time to settle down, control your emotions. You don't have to get into fights. You don't want to be getting into fights with your siblings or your parents or your friends or your children. You need to be a cohesive group to support each other through the times that are coming, because they're not going to be easy times in my estimation. And maybe I'm talking a load of rubbish, but we'll see. And I've talked to you before, based on that, I've seen 5 downturns in my lifetime, and one in particular had a major effect on me. So could have a major effect on you, and it's very hard now to just figure out exactly where it's going. I don't think the world's overpopulated. People say that, but there's plenty of room in Canada and Australia and America, and some of the countries with the highest standards of living have the greatest population density. If you look at density, not India's got 1.4 billion. Well, India's a big country. Japan's got 128, 30 million. Sophisticated society, and they live a very good life. Singapore, very small, 7 million people. They have a good standard of living. Hong Kong, same, good standard of living. So if you look at density of population, then there's plenty of room, and we are one species, and I think that's worth remembering. I've mentioned once before, they go back 50,000 years, and estimates of population were 5 million. So that's where you come from. Trust me, you do. And whatever religion or beliefs you may have, if you have a belly button, then you're human, you're of the human species. So you can get a blood transfusion in the right blood group, of course, from whoever you like, an Aborigine from Australia or an American Indian or a pygmy from Southern Africa, pygmy person from Southern Africa, it wouldn't matter. Proves again we're one species, So I guess I kind of wrap that up. Later on I'll bring you some of my paintings and some more poetry. I want to show you my paintings because it was Future Shock, which where we're at now. It was a mechanical man. It's what we are and the way we think, do and act. And modern minorities, because every country has one, racial or religious, and they're generally discriminated against. And Golden Earth. So I'd like to show you some of those paintings. I've just haven't quite figured out how yet, but I'll work it out because I'm just beginning this journey on YouTube, and I've had to learn what to do and how to do it, and I've got basic tools and limited amount of money, and but I still wanted to put it out there and share it with you. So wish you all well, people, and here I am again. Oh, my grab driver coming down here. I've found a really good grab driver and really reliable, and he's a really nice guy and speaks quite a lot of English. And if you come to Vietnam, then hey, find yourself a good grab car or grab driver, or put your app on the phone and you've got transport wherever you want to go. And he was just telling me when we arrived here that the Vietnamese Prime Minister met his wife here in this very temple. So just an interesting bit of news. So I'll give you a quick look around the temple and I'll say goodbye for now, and I'll catch up later with some paintings and more thoughts on the world in general. And so here we are at the temple at the northern end of Da Nang Beach. Catch you later. Vietnam oldtimers. I know I started this originally as a Vietnam oldtimers, but I've just combined two YouTube channels really. And I will get back to you guys and give you some more handy hints on travelling around Vietnam. I haven't forgotten you. And yeah, we'll get some more handy hints, but today we'll concentrate on what I've just been talking about. So thanks for listening, and of course if you like what I'm saying, then do the like and follow and share. I think it's important. You might think it's a load of rubbish, and you can delete me if you want to, not a problem. Delete, you got the button there. And but I prefer you pass it on, and if you pick up one thing out of what I'm saying, then it's worth it. It's like reading a book. If you pick up one thing, it's worth it. So I hope listening today for you has been worth it. So here we are at the temple. Look at those magnificent beasts. Horses. Really important throughout history. haven't they? Temple over there, statue of a woman with a dog, man's best friend. Beautiful gardens. Buddha, of course, yellow flowers, the main temple. Gardens in here are just superb. Very nice. And Tweety Bird's gone away today. He used to be tweeting non-stop and sounding like a smoke alarm. But he's left us today. So there you go, guys. And I believe in there is what looks like a huge prayer wheel. So maybe give your prayer wheel a spin and see what comes up. And out here and just across the road we have the lovely beach. So there you go. Da Nang, Vietnam. Bye.